began on March 1st, 2023, in a large office complex in Charlotte, North Carolina. An incident unfolded within the Automated Clearinghouse, or ACH network. This digital infrastructure serves as a critical backbone for transferring funds between various banking institutions. As a decentralized system, ACH facilitates millions of transactions daily, ensuring that electronic payments, payroll deposits, and bill payments are executed efficiently. The central actor in this event is a prominent ACH processing company, ClearPath Financial Solutions, well regarded for its streamlined, automated systems designed to handle large volumes of transactions. Over the past decade, ClearPath had invested heavily in digital infrastructure, implementing algorithms intended to optimize transaction throughput and minimize processing times. However, these systems were built on outdated assumptions regarding risk assessment and dependency management, which would soon be tested in unexpected ways. On the morning of March 1st, a routine software update was deployed to enhance the performance of ClearPath's transaction processing algorithms. Due to a vendor dependency on a third-party library, a misconfiguration occurred within a critical component of the software. Specifically, a newly integrated algorithm, which was designed to prioritize transaction speed, inadvertently created a loop within the system. This oversight meant that certain high-value transactions were incorrectly categorized as low risk, bypassing essential validation protocols and leading to delayed processing times. The internal monitoring tools reported minimal anomalies due to weak logging and insufficient alerts, which had not accounted for cascading transactional failures. As transactions began to pile up, the measurable impact quickly became apparent. Within the first 2 hours post-update, around 50,000 transactions, valued at over $200 million, and were left unprocessed. Many of these included urgent business payrolls, mortgage payments, and large corporate transactions. Users began reporting payment issues. Employees noted missing deposits, and vendors flagged unpaid invoices. The situation escalated further as bank partners, relying on timely transactions to maintain their financial practices, quickly began reporting disruptions. Internally, confusion reigned as teams scrambled to diagnose the issue. An incident channel was created, flooded with inquiries about transaction discrepancies and processing delays. Staff members exchanged emails, attempting to piece together the circumstances surrounding the unusual situation, but initial assessments fell short. Many assumed this was simply a spike in transaction volume, rather than a systemic failure within the algorithm. Initial fixes suggested by the software engineers involved rerouting some transactions or increasing server capacity, but these actions did not resolve the underlying issue in the algorithm itself. Externally, monitoring alerts began to rise, but the true scope of the problem remained hidden. Some financial institutions received minor media mentions as they began experiencing delays, but the focus of the reports remained vague, with the media attributing the disruptions to broader market volatility. User reports continued to trickle in, and while some reactions began to escalate on social media, the narrative did not yet connect the dots to ClearPath's compromised ACH system. As the day progressed, so did the challenges for ClearPath. Transaction delays continued to spread, and financial institutions began to question their relationships with ClearPath as more reports of failures emerged. The algorithms designed to streamline operations had instead created a bottleneck, raising alarm within the organization as trust in the infrastructure waned. Internal assessments led to an emergency meeting among executives, where the potential for escalating disruption was acknowledged, but no clear path forward emerged to rectify the growing crisis. While a number of minor issues had been addressed by the technical teams, the larger systemic vulnerabilities within the ACH network remained uninvestigated. Concurrently, as bank partners began to insist on transparency regarding the ongoing issues, pressure mounted on ClearPath to provide answers. The financial landscape was starting to shift as mounting uncertainty loomed over multiple stakeholders. A quiet storm was brewing, fueled by transaction delays and a lack of clarity. With ongoing internal discussions failing to yield a plan of action, the situation quickly escalated beyond initial expectations. A deeper investigation was needed, but as the hours turned into a desperate race against time, ClearPath's ability to contain the fallout diminished. Unknown to them, the the first ripple of a much larger crisis was about to send shockwaves throughout the financial sector. As the sun set on March 1st, ClearPath experienced a significant escalation in complaints. By the end of the business day, an estimated 200,000 transactions had failed, totaling over $1 billion. Small businesses began to voice their frustrations publicly as employees faced unpaid wages, contracts risked cancellation, and supply chain disruptions emerged. The consequences started to ripple outwards. Clients filed petitions for emergency funds from banks, straining liquidity in an already tenuous market. In response to the compounding issues, ClearPath initiated a crisis meeting on March 2nd, where leaders discussed emergency incident response steps. They ultimately decided to implement a temporary suspension of new transactions on their platform, while also reaching out to their third-party vendors to patch the algorithm. However, the vendors' inability to deliver a timely fix complicated the situation, as partners expressed their mounting concerns over the ongoing outages. On March 3rd, banks began issuing legal notices to ClearPath, demanding explanations for the delays and outlining potential penalties. Internal audits confirmed the software update had caused significant vulnerabilities, though the full scope of customer impact had not yet been fully cataloged. As the situation continued, instances of fraud began appearing. Opportunistic actors exploited the confusion within the network, taking advantage of payment delays and leveraging social engineering tactics to manipulate older transactions for financial gain. By March 5th, a detailed investigation led by ClearPath teams revealed that over 500,000 users were directly impacted, with financial losses spiraling beyond $3.5 billion. Reports indicated that the failure had caused multiple businesses to lay off employees and closures in some extreme cases. The interdependencies between multiple banks and the reliance on smooth ACH processing demonstrated an interconnected problem that was dismissed prior to the crisis. As ClearPath's transparency began to falter, the situation escalated beyond the realm of private resolution. Major media outlets picked up the story, investigating the outage and implicating ClearPath executives in the mismanagement of the incident. Investigative journalists published articles revealing the exact mechanisms of the failure, citing internal chat logs that highlighted warning signs ignored by mid-level managers before the algorithm was deployed. Section analysis indicated known flaws in the software package being used and exposed previous communications from engineers concerning vulnerabilities that had not been prioritized for resolution. In an effort to regain control of the narrative, ClearPath announced an overhaul of their systems designed to boost security and reliability on March 10th. The company's CEO, under tremendous pressure, publicly acknowledged the need for an audit and transparency campaign aimed at their clients and consumers. Legal teams began sorting through a tide of class action lawsuits, while internal personnel were evaluated for potential dismissals based on negligence. Concurrently, regulators from the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, FINRA, began an investigation into ClearPath's operations, scrutinizing their risk management practices as the financial fallout continued to unfold. On March 15th, the first of a series of subpoenas was issued targeting internal documents related to the algorithms and software updates that sparked the confusion. In the weeks that followed, ClearPath's attempts at mitigation faced continuous challenges. On March 20th, due to immense reputational damage and loss of clientele, financial partners began pulling out of contracts with the company. The banking community's trust had eroded, and as direct financial losses mounted, further investigations revealed lapses in compliance with federal regulations governing payment processing. By April 1st, ClearPath faced bankruptcy as a series of critical accounts were frozen or closed. Their market share diminished substantially, while rival payment processing firms capitalized on their failures. The loss of customers and partners, compounded by millions in lost capital, created an unsustainable business model that could no longer operate successfully. On April 15th, criminal charges were filed against several executives of ClearPath as law enforcement stepped in to investigate claims of misleading practices and potential fraud perpetrated during the transaction failures. This legal scrutiny instigated an irreversible collapse of trust within the financial system. As criminal proceedings began, reports emerged of global regulatory bodies considering systemic reforms to ensure better protections for ACH transactions moving forward. In the months that followed, ClearPath's infrastructure was dismantled. By June 2023, their assets were sold off, and a large portion of their operational capacity was absorbed by competing firms. This finalization marked the end of ClearPath's role as a major player in the ACH landscape. As a result of this monumental failure, the entire payment processing sector began to undergo extensive reforms, emphasizing the importance of reliable transaction protocols and operational transparency. Once heralded as a pioneer in digital transactions, ClearPath became a case study in systemic risk management failures. The incident delivered a clear wake-up call for financial systems, highlighting vulnerabilities that had gone unaddressed for years. As of October 2023, ClearPath is officially defunct, having filed for bankruptcy in May 2023, leaving behind a legacy defined by the risks associated with digital financial infrastructures.